This gourmet loved to eat French escargot the most. To satisfy his own appetite, he even started a snail factory. One day, after finishing his meal, the man left the restaurant and headed for the factory. The streets were filled with pedestrians walking with umbrellas. On both sides of the street, there were advertisements for snail dishes hanging on the high walls. The man drove his sports car around the streets and headed out of town. There were ordinary people's houses on both sides of the road. The man passed over an overpass, with many tall chimneys by the roadside and sewage pipes discharging wastewater into the sea. Finally, the man arrived at the factory and met with several investors. The man excitedly showed them his research results. The scientists in the factory had developed a gene-modified serum and injected it into the snails, altering their genes. The modified snails grew larger than humans. The factory was home to many giant snails, and the investors were very satisfied when they saw them. Not only that, but the man had also invented snail soup and portable snail cans. Seeing this, the investors signed the investment agreement without hesitation. The factory expanded further, with more snail shells and chimneys. The man felt in a good mood and began to wander around. He came to a landfill where many snail shells were discarded. At that moment, the man suddenly heard a strange sound. He followed the sound and found that it was coming from a snail shell. The man decided to go in and check, slowly walking into the shell. But as he struggled through a narrow opening, he accidentally fell and found himself in a white world, as if riding an elevator. The floor beneath his feet reflected his image. It turned out that he was standing on a giant plate, and he had become food for a giant. At that moment, a fork aimed at the man. The man was terrified and ran for his life, hiding back in the snail shell. However, the giant did not give up. He first tried to attack with his tongue but was resisted by the man, so he directly inserted the fork into the snail shell. The fork bent like a tentacle and could change direction according to the shape of the shell. With no way to retreat, the man could only keep running forward. After passing through the narrow opening again, the man finally ran out of the snail shell. But just as the man let his guard down, the fork struck him from behind. In the end, the man still became someone's food. So, did you understand this story?